This video is going to be a follow-up to my Kobe Bryant divorce video. I've just decided I'm going to milk every topic for about 2 or 3 videos since I ran out of things to talk about. No, but seriously, I'm only going to make videos if I have something to say. So anyway, some people were asking the question, well, you talked about Vanessa being wifey material. Was Kobe husband material? And that's a good and fair question. I actually had a discussion similar to this with Mr. Soul in Black about 6 months ago. We were having a discussion about cheating and on-point men, and the question was asked, can on-point men cheat? Soul in Black said that if a man cheats, he's not on point. And then I said, well, okay, Martin Luther King cheated and Bill Cosby cheated, so are they not on point? And he said no. And at that point, I was done with the conversation. Because first of all, Soul in Black was married to a white woman, and Martin Luther King is at least partly responsible for him even being able to marry a white woman without getting lynched. With integration, slowly came more acceptance for stuff like that. And second of all, whoever Soul in Black considers to be on point, whether it's himself or some other male, they're not perfect. They are going to have their faults. And cheating was just a fault that Martin Luther King had. It was just a fault that Bill Cosby had. It doesn't mean they're not on point. It might mean they have some moral issues, but they can still be on point. They were still educated. They were still providing for their family, making good money, and they weren't criminals. So when it comes to the question of whether or not Kobe Bryant is husband material, if you're basing it on the fact that he cheated, then I'd have to ask the same question. Do you think Martin Luther King is husband material or was? Or do you think Bill Cosby is husband material? And that's an open-ended question for you to answer. I'm not going to answer that for you. Now here's what I think. Kobe may or may not be husband material. I don't know. I'd need more information other than he cheated. For me, it takes other things to be a good husband or not a good husband. Now, for me personally, if you've been watching my videos, perhaps you remember I made a video called Keep It Out My Face. And I have a little bit different view of quote-unquote cheating than other people, and definitely a different view than most women. If you want to know what I had to say, just go back and watch the video. I don't feel the need to rehash everything I said. But basically, based on what I said in that video, when asked the question, is Kobe husband material or not, I cannot make that determination just based on the fact that he slept with other women while he was married to Vanessa. I would need other information like, okay, does he provide? Is he abusive? Does he love her? Is he a good father to the kids? Those things, the whole shebang is what determines whether or not, for me, whether or not somebody is husband material, not just whether he has sex with other women. All right, let's talk about clothing again. A lot of people had a problem with the point that I made. The first thing I want to reiterate is that I said the way she was dressed was a clue. It's not the end-all be-all. I said that in the first video. Second of all, certain clothing does correlate, and I did say correlate with certain behavior, which is why a lot of restaurants and nightclubs and even schools have dress codes. Behavior does correlate with style of dress. Now again, it's not 100%, it's not an exact science. You could be the purest, most wholesome, most chaste woman in the world and dress like a hoe. But that's not usually how it goes. Usually hoes dress like hoes and wholesome women dress like wholesome women. Now, a woman who is dressed sexily knows, or at least should know, that she's going to attract a lot of attention from men. They're either going to be looking at her, catcalling at her, asking her out, maybe even touching her. Now, you want to continue to look sexy and nice and appealing for your husband, no doubt. But if you're dressed in such a way that your tits are damn near out, then you are dressed in a way that you know is going to entice other men. You are dressed in a way that's going to appeal to their sexual urges. The attention you're going to get wearing a dress like this, why would a wife want that? That's what I'm saying. This is what's not wifey material about it. I mean, you're already married. You've already got your man. Supposedly you're happy and you wanted to get married, right? So why would you wear a dress that's going to bring all this attention that there's nothing you can really do with that attention? And I understand women want to still, have men look at them and maybe give them a compliment. But this isn't even about looking pretty or looking attractive. This is about appealing to their sexuality, like trying to get them to, trying to get the wood up or something. This is how you dress when you want men to hit on you, which again, if you're married, why did you want this? I mean, imagine she's wearing this and she's got her 2 girls with her, and you know, some dude comes up and starts trying to holler. I mean, why would you want to bring that attention around your children? Now, of course, you can get hit on when you have your kids around anyway, even if you're dressed in sweatpants, but it's more likely if your tits are visible. When you wear a dress like that, it sends a signal out to men. She's dressed like that because she wants me to look at her, and she wants me to come up to her, and she wants me to make all sorts of comments, even if her children are around. I mean, if you're wearing a dress like that, how can you even get mad if somebody comes up to you and says, look at them titties? Can I suck them things? Can I touch them? Are they real? I mean, you can't even get mad. The way you're dressed affects behavior. It affects your own behavior, and it affects the behavior of the people who are interacting with you. Which again is why certain establishments have dress codes. Now, another point I want to make is that I'm not saying the way she's dressed is slutty. I'm not saying it's wrong the way she's dressed. I'm saying it's indicative of her mindset, and her mindset determines whether or not she would make a good wife or not. It's a clue as to whether or not she'd make a good wife. Just one clue. I mean, you have to look at other things, just like I said with the Kobe and the cheating and the good husband thing, okay? There's other things you have to look at, but this is a clue. And also, me bringing up the way she was dressed was not the only thing I mentioned. I mentioned that she waited 10 years, almost exactly, to divorce Kobe. And also, her stepdad said that, and again, you have to take this with a grain of salt, but her divorcing Kobe at 10 years kind of supports what he's saying. But her stepdad said that her mother taught her well. And her mother was a gold digger too, because she was digging on the stepdad. So he says. But anyway, I'm not saying that there are no moms who are dressed sexy and they're good moms and are good wives. Again, you don't just look at one thing and make your decision. But if you look at women who tend to wear dresses like this and see how they act, that's the reason I say that it's a clue. Maybe even a bit of a red flag. Okay, it should at least be a caution sign. Also, for women who dress sexy, I can't help but to ask the question if somewhere along the way they figured out that if they dress a certain way, that it makes men go crazy and they become putty in their hands. They can almost get the man to do whatever they want him to do, whether it's buy them a drink, let them cut in line. If it's with a policeman, they let them get off on a speeding ticket, whatever. This mindset is a mindset of cutting corners. Not necessarily anything wrong with that, but again, supposedly you're looking for a wife, right? So this woman is thinking, okay, since I'm good looking and I'm sexy and I'm going to look really good on your arm and you can show me off to your friends, then I don't necessarily need to have all the skills that a wife has. I don't need to, that woman over there is average looking, so she needs to be able to cook and she needs to be able to sew. I know nobody sews anymore, but this is just an example. She has to do wifely duties. I'm just here to make you look good. So don't be expecting me to get my nails dirty or do this or do that, okay? I'm the soap in the bathroom that you don't actually use. It's just there for decoration, okay? I'm that towel that you don't actually wipe your hands on, okay? It's just for decoration. So if you have a woman who's, getting people to let her skip in line because she's so cute, or, she's getting men to buy her drinks or cars or boob jobs or whatever, she doesn't even have to be a sure thing for them. Just the prospect of them possibly getting her is enough to get them to shell out hundreds of thousands of dollars on her. So if you're going to marry a woman like that, then how do you know she's not running that same game on you? Like, I'm going to look cute and pretty, he's going to marry me, and then in 10 years, I'm going to divorce him. Like, how do you know if you're getting a game run on you? Now, before you get started, yes, any woman can run a game on you, but if you have a woman who's used to this type of thing, she's even more of a risk. Again, I'm not speaking against pretty women or sexy women. I'm just saying it's a clue. You have to look at it. If you look into that and it checks out okay, then fine. Have fun. Marry the chick. But don't just disregard it. Well, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you it's not wise. But anyway, I think that's all I got to say about that. Leave your comments.